It is a rainy day, so we thought we'd do some Q&A.
Advice. Obviously there's steps. So first step, you have to find your property. You got to find the property that you want that'll work for you. And then once you find that property, you need to have some kind of structure. You need to be able to live on that property to do other things. So that'd be if you bring down a motorhome, or you get one of those sheds like they sell at Lowe's or Home Depot that you can have hauled out, and you insulate and fix that up for living space, wall tent, whatever. You need some kind of living space so that you can do your work on the property and prepare the property. Small steps. I know some people, and we're like that too, you just want to dive in and do it all, and you just can't. It overwhelm you if you try to do that. You got to do small steps. So property, structure. If you need to do clearing on your land to prepare it for having animals or whatever, you do that. So that's my biggest bit of advice, is just do it in small chunks. Don't overwhelm yourself by looking at the big picture and thinking about all these multitudes of things that you have to get done, because it'll overwhelm you. So do it in small pieces. Make gradual progress every day. Figure out your plan for the day, the things you want to get done, whether clear land, add something to your structure, build a chicken coop. Small bites, small steps, so you don't overwhelm yourself. That's the biggest thing I can tell you, is just gradual, patient progress.
Don't join the Facebook groups. No, you actually can get a lot of good information from the Facebook groups for homesteading and off-grid life, but there's a lot of drama, so just be prepared for the stupid, pointless drama. Well, yeah, what I find is that a lot of people, probably over half of the people on those Facebook groups, aren't really off-grid, but they're the ones who cause all the drama. So internet, social media is what it is. So, but you can, there are a lot of resources online. There's all the different groups in social media, people who really are living the life, and so you can just pop on there and ask questions about things that come up. And the internet is just such a valuable resource. That is where we've gone to learn everything, to research how to set up our solar power system, and researching just everything that we've needed to learn how to do. The humidor dry composting toilet that we use, we learned how to set that up online. So that is a valuable resource. My other advice would be to be patient. If you start on the process of living off-grid, you're probably not going to be able to get everything all set up at once. So you have to learn you have to be patient, figure things out, make things better over time. Unless you just have an unlimited supply of money and you can pay other people to come set things up. But then you're missing a big, huge part of it. Part of being an off-grid homesteader is learning how to do these things yourself and being independent. So you've got to give yourself time to learn everything and get everything set up. And I love how this kind of parallels how the pioneers lived. When I grew up reading the Laura Ingalls Wilder's books, my favorite books. One of the reasons why I always wanted to live out in the woods is to be like Laura Ingalls Wilder. And so when they first went out west, they had to live very, very simply at first. It was very uncomfortable, but the longer they were there, the better they improved their farm and their homestead. And so life continued to get easier and easier in some ways. And still there was lots of work to do. But so we've kind of followed that same way of starting out small, more uncomfortable, and then continuing to improve and learn how to make things better. And so I love it that our lives kind of parallel the pioneers in that way. So you have to have patience, you have to be willing to work really hard. But then on the other hand, my advice would be, don't feel like you have to have it all figured out and you have to have everything ready before you go. You need to make sure you're not going to starve to death and you're not going to freeze to death. You have to have that worked out. But don't feel like every tiny little detail has to be all figured out, or else you're never going to do it. Once you have the main things figured out and you know you're set up and you're not going to starve and you're not going to freeze to death, go ahead and do it. Look for your property. So don't be afraid to make that jump. It does take takes a lot of guts. A lot of people will not understand why you want to live this way. They won't understand why you want to be independent, live on your own, out in the middle of the wilderness. A lot of people will give you a hard time. Maybe your family members won't understand. But if that's what you really want to do, it is doable. You can do it. If we could do it, other people can do it. So don't be afraid to make that jump. It's a wonderful life. We don't regret it. We've never regretted it for 1 second. I think that it's the way human beings were made to live, and I think it's the most satisfying, wonderful life that we could ever live.